Welcome to the Brandtelling Podcast, where we go beyond basic branding with powerful stories as told by brand builders, owners, and founders. Now, here are your hosts, Chief Brand Teller Arthur Germain and the Brand Chef Asaf Bachman.
Every business owner and founder knows the feeling of imposter syndrome. We feel like we're not who we say we are when we meet with people. Our websites must be describing other people, and worst of all, we feel like at any moment we're going to get caught and called out like in a movie.
Here's the thing, that's all natural. For most owners and founders, your first business is also the first time you've taken all the risks, become the boss, and had to handle sales plus whatever your actual business does.
When imposter syndrome becomes a constant background feeling, more than a distant noise, but an unwanted companion in your business, that can impact your brand. It's time to seek some professional leadership coaching and guidance.
How do you shake that feeling?
That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the Brandtelling Podcast. I'm Arthur Germain, and with me is my co-host, Asaf, the Brand Chef Bachman.
Thank you, Arthur. Our guest today is Joe Beauchamp, president of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions, where he coaches business leaders to overcome the challenges their team faces, achieving goals and growing their businesses through a series of tools, using leadership development coaching, training, mentoring, and consulting. Joe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Joe, I want to ask you first to kind of briefly describe what you do, but did we hit the mark when we start off talking about imposter syndrome? Do people come to you and say, hey, this is a problem for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So imposter syndrome is, here's the inside scoop on imposter syndrome. Everyone is faking it. Everyone is doing a job that they know they could be better at, right? And so we also know from the Peter principle, right? Everybody gets promoted to a level of incompetence. So everyone feels incompetent in their job. They're like, oh my gosh, everyone else is so much better. Because it's like we live a Facebook world where we just put the best of ourselves out front. And in the background, we're just like kicking and screaming, like trying to figure it out as we go. But every single person is going through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But the answer is really early self-development and continuous self-development. If you're growing on a growth trajectory as best as you can, that's all you can do. Learn, read, study, like take courses, listen to podcasts like this one, right? Read books, listen to audiobooks, go to seminars. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to self-develop. And if people are on that trajectory, you're going to do the best you can.
Yeah. I think that's great to hear, because I know for myself, we've discussed here on the podcast a few times, being an entrepreneur or being a small business owner. And there's always that little background. Each time you start something new, you're starting or do some new thing in your business, it might be the first time you've done that kind of thing, especially with that kind of client, right? There, you may have some familiarity, and then you're like, oh, and put A and B together. And like, well, I've never put A and B together. Okay, well, you're going to this time, and you do feel like that imposter. But about the 100th time you put A and B together and you're training other people to do it, you're like, I'm no imposter. I'm an expert at this.
Yeah.
And it quickly goes away.
Absolutely. So I would go to a business and assess what's going on in their business. Where do they want to go? How do they want to grow their business? And then we find out places where they're lacking. There's usually a hole in their picture of how great their company is. And usually it's part of culture, a lack of emphasis on core values, a lack of leadership development. And then we discuss with the shareholders of the company, the CEO, the owner, founder, whoever, what do they want to get? Where do they want to go? How do they want to get there? What's the plan to resolve these issues? And then we set up a plan of identifying people who could use leadership development, which is every single person in the company.
Yeah.
Who's going to give the best return on investment of that leadership development? And then, do we work with the sales team? Do we focus on sales? Do we work with marketing, operations, or leadership from the top? I mean, generally it should go from the top down, from the CEO down. And we create that culture. We create, an identity for the company, kind of this brand awareness.
Right.
And an awareness of who they are, and an awareness of some core values, right? So a couple of things I heard you mention is that back and forth between I'm an expert and I'm an imposter, right? And really the balance there is the humility. You know what? I am good at some things, and you know what? I'm really not good at some other things. And that awareness is critical. When somebody thinks that I'm an expert in everything, that's usually a sign of trouble.
Right.
And if they think that
usually they're a billionaire rocket producer, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I'll give him some credit for being a billionaire rocket producer. So,
So even though everybody can use leadership training and every business could use it, are there any specific businesses that you either target or have found to be the best, recipients of your service?
it's really just having an open mind. So I've got clients that have only a few employees, and they've said to me, "Hey, Joe, listen, we've been in business for 20 years. I have no idea how we did business before. Like you've opened our eyes so much to so many different things. We have no idea how we used to talk to customers before, how we survived before." So from small businesses to large businesses, I've got clients that have got a few hundred employees, and those are nice for me because there's continuous growth. The company's continuing to grow. They're continually hiring new people, raising up leaders, and I continually can help them to grow on an ongoing basis. So that client I've had for several years, and all their leadership team, they come through me, and I just keep helping them to develop next level.
So you've mentioned a couple of times the idea of core values. And I know when the chef talks to his clients, he'll talk about, so what is your core value, and then kind of build around that. I often talk to say, what are the values and benefits that your customers and others derive from working with you in your business, to help people find what I call their brand promise. But I think we're kind of on the same page here, where there's that kind of something at the core. Simon Sinek would say the start with why. There's something in that center. How do you get business owners, and really it doesn't matter to me about size of business, but how do you get business owners to really kind of focus on that core value and then show them how to build from there?
So we start off with a focus on the customer, right? Because we're in business to serve our community, to serve our client base. We're in business to serve our employees as well. So to get that view, that core value of serving our community, our client base, and serving our employees is important for the business owner to really kind of own that aspect of being a business owner. And most business owners do. Like when they get to a certain size, they're like, I have a responsibility to my clients, my vendors. Like they feel this huge weight of responsibility. People don't give CEOs enough credit for the weight that they feel on, every single employee's paycheck relies on me making good decisions, right? So it's a little shout out to the CEOs out there who are doing the right thing. So, but once they figure that out, we have to figure out what's the direction of this company? Where are we going? What's this vision, right? So a leader is a leader because they're going somewhere and people want to follow them there. If they don't know where they're going, or if they can't clearly communicate where they're going, nobody's going to want to follow them. If nobody's following them, everybody's going in their own direction. Sure. And the company is not an organization, it's a disorganization.
Yeah. Yep.
So values have to be directional. They've got to take you to that vision. If you have values that aren't helping your vision, you got to find new values. And right. if you as a person don't ascribe to good core values that you need, then it's time to develop those values, right? So everybody can be in a state of self-development, even in developing their core values.
That's right. I remember learning to facilitate brand strategy and learning to facilitate brand value questioning and thinking to myself, well, everyone will think this is a joke. This sounds so, hokey pokey, and it just sounds so unimportant. And I got to tell you, not a single client has ever laughed when I've brought it up. When I take them through the framework, they understand immediately how important it is. And they usually complain because it's really hard to put into words the things that they feel on how, people should behave, how employees should behave, and how they expect employers to behave and even customers to behave.
Yeah, I think they jump to, and sure we jump to also the idea that, we're selling a thing, whether it's a product or service. So can't we focus on, the attributes of the thing? And you're like, no, you can't focus on the attributes of the thing. That's important. Product market fit is a thing, but what's more important is, are you the fit for your customer? Is that customer the right fit for you? Are you
trustworthy?
Trustworthy. Are you building all those things that will build the trust? We use that phrase all the time. People work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? Yep. Well, they won't know, like, or trust you if your values aren't applied, if they're not there, if they don't exist.
Right.
So everybody has values, right? And
Right.
so those core values of some critical mass of the company are going to determine the culture of the company,
Right.
right? And that's going to create the direction. So if I come into a company and, like, let's say I'm a fireball, like I'm just like totally in line with the core values that they're supposed to be at the company. I'm an achiever. I've, got great success before. And I go in there and I start to move in the direction. Like, I believe in the vision of this company. I'm going to move in that direction. I'm going to get sucked into that core. I'm going to get sucked into that culture of that company. If the company culture is sideways, I'm going to get pushed sideways, right? So I call culture like a river, and if the river has to flow in the direction of the company vision, because if people drop into that river, they need to go downstream, right? If the river starts to go sideways, like, let's say the company culture is, well, yeah, we make commitments every quarter, but we don't really follow through with them. Or, we have yearly goals, but nobody really follows up with them. Nobody's really accountable for anything. We make deliverables to our clients, but we don't really deliver on them. The deliverable is an excuse, not
or
a
we
product
we
or
make
service.
deliverables to our clients, but we never deliver to the people inside.
Yeah. I've worked with this happens with a lot of salespeople. The salespeople, if you're the customer, they're wonderful. But if you're the internal person, I'm like, can you just treat the people on the inside the same as you treat your clients on the outside?
Right.
Yep.
Don't lie to them.
Don't lie to them. Don't scam them. Don't be rude to them.
Right.
Like, these are your clients. Like, everybody's your client. Like, be a good person to everybody around you, 360 degrees.
And every position is a sales position.
That is true. Yeah.
So can you tell us, Joe, or really can you tell our audience how you got into leadership coaching and leadership development?
Yeah. So I started my career back in 1995 in a management position in a Fortune top 20 company. When I started the job, I had about 20 people that were working for me. I came right into management. So I'm, at that time, 24 years old, and the person with the least amount of experience on my team had been in the company for 23 years.
Wow.
Everyone else on my team started the company before I was born.
Wow.
So I had to lead by being, a gracious, respectful leader, and just, lead by casting a vision and inspiring people to want to move in that direction. They had zero reason to follow me, because I couldn't do anything to them. I couldn't fire them, couldn't promote them or demote them. I couldn't change their career at all. And they knew if every one of them, when I left that position to go somewhere else, every one of them was still there, right? So they knew that. Leaders come and leaders go, and then they'll still be around. They're, the union place. So I had to lead well. I had, trial by fire. I had to lead by inspiration, by values, by respect, by caring, by casting a good vision and creating a good core culture. And the team performed really well. We did some amazing things. I moved to other teams, did some other amazing things, recruited for a team to rescue the state out of a problem with the government. And we fixed that. And so after a number of years of this company, I said, I can take this show on the road. I can help other business leaders to grow and develop their business leadership. And so I took an early retirement package. I launched out. I had my first seminar back in, I think it was like 2004. And I had 2 people attend my seminar. So
how did mom like it?
No, it wasn't mom. No relatives. It was somebody who I was advertising on the radio, and I had 2 people that responded to the radio and showed up to the event. So thankfully, it wasn't a huge expensive. It was expensive. The radio advertising was expensive, but the actual like setup and everything else wasn't super expensive. Anyway, so that kind of put a kibosh on my launch of the leadership development at that time. And so I had 4 young kids, house, wife, the whole thing. So I decided to get a real job, right? Because everybody tells you when you're an entrepreneur, like, why don't you just get a real job?
Yeah.
So I listened, and I became a high school science teacher. So I was a high school science teacher for a number of years, but that calling in my heart was still there.
I've seen this show, High School Science Teacher.
Yeah. Did you get an RV later? No, that's a different show.
I did teach chemistry. At the time, kids all the time would say, "Hey, Mr. Beauchamp, do you know how to make, whatever?"
Yeah. So on your website, you list, some information about John Maxwell, the godfather of DISC and the DISC training. Maybe tell the audience a little bit about what is DISC and why is that so important? And you must have worked with John to maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in 2019, I encountered John Maxwell and the Maxwell leadership team, and we still offer certification in leadership training and coaching. And I got my certification back in 2019. So I'm part of the Maxwell leadership team. We're all independent, but we're licensed to, train on John Maxwell's material. DISC is one of the things that we do. And it's an amazing tool. It's like opening up the curtain in life. Like everybody's like kind of like looking at life through, like a curtain that, you can kind of see unclearly and get kind of hints about personality types. Once you learn DISC and you learn like what different personality types are like, what they hear when you speak and what they need to hear in order to feel comfortable, right? Going back to that, they need to know you, like you, and trust you.
Right.
Well, they're going to know you, like you, and trust you if you can speak their language. And so DISC is a great opportunity for leadership, for communication, for sales. It's a night and day difference maker in people's lives when you understand DISC personality types and how to speak to people in a language that they can get it.
Yeah. It's funny. I think when I first heard about DISC, I thought, well, this can't be true. It seems arbitrary. And then when I learned a little bit more and I saw my own DISC type, I went, oh my God, this, this really fits. It was kind of real science-based look at what are the personalities, and not in the really soft, squishy way, but on the, what does this person need in order to have a good standard communication? Some people just need the facts and they go and run on their way.
Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about that and Team Beauchamp and how they differentiate themselves right after this break.
Hey there, if you're like most business owners or founders, you may find that after time, your brand has undergone some type of change. Maybe you've launched a new product, a new service, or a new location, or perhaps you've acquired some new talent or capability.
And now your team is struggling to communicate what makes your brand different and what sets you apart as the right choice.
And that's why Asaf and I have launched the Brand Building Bootcamp. It's a focused workshop where we reimagine, refresh, rebuild, and relaunch your entire brand.
We're essentially helping you become a category of one.
The Brand Building Bootcamp gives you a refreshed brand storybook, visual identity, magnetic website, and the tools for connecting your content with your audiences to increase your bottom line.
Arthur, don't forget, we're delivering all this in 30 days or less.
Yeah, no pressure.
Well, we're limiting the bootcamp to only a few clients each month. So if you're interested, let us know.
Yeah, if this sounds interesting, you can learn more at thebrandbuildingbootcamp.com and schedule a no-obligation brand chat with me and Asaf.
And now, let's get back to our podcast.
We're back, everyone, and we're talking with Joe Beauchamp from Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. And, for those of you who've been listening all the way through, we've said that 4 times and edited out of the podcast because we have tripped over the long name. Joe, just before the break, we were talking about DISC, and I'm wondering if you could just tell the audience what the acronym stands for and just how you use it in general.
Yeah, awesome. Can I just tell a quick story first? So
Absolutely. We're all about stories here.
I'm a C personality type, primarily a C. I'm a CD. We'll go into what that means soon. But I had a salesperson who was a friend of mine who is an I personality type. Now, if you look in the chart, the I's and the C's are kind of opposite of each other. Mm-hmm. So this person was trying to sell me on something. I was already convinced that I was going to buy it from him because he was a friend of mine. And it's a big ticket item. It was such a frustrating encounter. It took over a year to close the deal. And for me, it was super frustrating the entire time. Probably for the other person, it was super frustrating as well. But we just weren't speaking the same language. I kept wanting details. I wanted explanations. I wanted data. And he kept giving me these broad overviews and soft feeling type things and just trust me kind of stuff. It was so, I didn't understand DISC at the time. I know that this other person did not understand DISC at the time. And the interaction, I had to continually say to myself, He's my friend. I'm going to buy it from him. He's my friend. I'm going to buy it from him. He's my friend. I got to buy it from him. Now, if he wasn't my friend, I would never have bought it from him. No way. Absolutely not.
Wow.
Right. So let's just go through real quick with the DISC personality styles, right? And this has been scientifically validated, right?
Yeah.
It's considered valid and reliable as far as psychological instruments. It is predictive. I can read the DISC profiles of a team without ever meeting the team. And I can tell you the exact things that are going on in that team. I can tell you the team dynamics. I do it all the time. I will call a team leader when I read the DISC reports of his team or her team. And I'll say, hey, listen, this is what you got to watch out for. And he goes, yeah, that's what's happening. I said, okay, this is how you have to handle it. So it's really super predictive. So D is for people who are direct. These are people that are bottom line thinkers. They're action oriented. They take action quickly, right? So think of your entrepreneur generally has some D in their personality type. Now, nobody's just one, solely one personality type all the time, but we tend to lean more one direction than the other. Most people are some kind of combination thereof. So the D is the bottom line thinker. They just want answers, right? They're outgoing and they're task oriented. I was on an elevator one time and the person got on and we were going the wrong direction. I said, hey, do you want to get off and, take the other elevator? It's going, because they were going down and we were going up. And he goes, can you close the door? I'm like, oh, I'm talking to a D. Right? He's just like, he just wanted to take action real quick, right? He didn't care if he was going in the wrong direction. He just wanted to start moving, right? So there's your D personality type. They're outgoing. D can tend to stand for other things than direct, but we won't say those on the air, but you get the picture. So next is the I. The I is the influencer. I's are people oriented and they are outgoing. So think of the person on the stage, the dancer, the singer, the performer. Could be a school teacher, could be a lawyer, could be a radio show, talk show host, right? They're warm, they're friendly, they're natural people relationship builders, right? People tend to like them right away. Okay. They're warm and friendly, right? So I's tend to be the center of attention. If you go to a party and people are laughing, usually the person in the middle of that group of people that are laughing is an I personality type. Okay. They've got a natural sense for understanding and relating to people. Okay. They've got some negative points too. Like, so not everybody's 100% positives, and there's no one DISC personality type that's any better than any others. Right. So one of the downsides about an I, especially if you have an I as a client, or if you're married to an I, or you're relating in business to an I,
or if you are the I,
I's are not the best at follow through, right? So getting the final details done at the end is often a challenge for an I. So making sure that those systems are set up is an important part for an I.
Would you say that they're prone to shiny object syndrome?
Shiny object syndrome, absolutely, 100%.
So Asaf's been pointing at me the whole time you've been talking because
you're describing him to a T.
I'm definitely the I. I like to be the center of attention. I like to be the one who talks. That's why it's so hard in a podcast. But the follow-up, this is why I rely on Asaf when we do these podcasts, is Asaf will say, okay, I've booked the time to record the podcast. The guest knows when to arrive. And he's printed out the questions that we've done. Now I've worked on the questions, and he and I have talked over where we're going to go with the podcast, and I've got a good general position on it. But the follow through and all, I rely on Asaf to do those things. So I'm dying to hear what the S and the C and figure out where he falls in.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like opening up the curtains and looking at life a whole different way. It's helped my marriage when my wife learned about DISC personality type. She took the DISC assessment, learned about her personality type, and learned about my personality type. She no longer thinks I'm crazy. She just knows that I'm a different personality type. So it's made a big difference in our marriage. So we talked about the D and the I. Those are both outgoing. They're very different personality types. D's are task-oriented. I's are people-oriented. Right. We're going to swing around to the S. The S is people-oriented, but they're not outgoing. They're more reserved, okay? S's are the fabric of the society. These are people who are loyal. They're friendly. They're people-oriented, but they're reserved. They tend to show up every day to work regardless of what's going on. They're the movers that just keep moving, right? The Energizer bunny, not that they're moving super fast, but they just keep going, okay? So if you have a job that requires somebody following a system over and over and over and over again, you want an S personality type to do that. Mm-hmm. The good news is about 50% of our population, plus or minus, is an S personality type. So they're friendly, they're reliable, they're loyal, they're very people oriented. It's the easiest personality type of all 4 personality types for people to get along with. So if you're an S personality type, just know that everybody likes to get along with you easier. The downsides about an S are if you've got S's on your team, because they're so non-confrontational, they won't tend to tell you things that they're feeling or experiencing or that you really should know. Like if my clothes are on fire, please tell me my clothes are on fire. Don't worry about offending me. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've been married for 18 years and I'm having a lot of interesting thoughts right now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe get you and your wife to take the disc assessment.
Disc assessment.
Please continue.
Yeah. So I had a husband and wife who could not get along. The husband's a D, the wife is a C. The most friction occurs between those two personality types, and they were experiencing that friction. The wife, as a C personality type, we're going to talk about C next, had a million questions. The D is a very bottom line thinker. They just want to take action. So the D is like, why are you asking me so many questions? And the wife's like, I just want to know. Like, I just need the information. And so we settled on, I told him, listen, you got to pick a number, how many questions you're allowed to ask. And that's it. He will know as a D, once I answer these 4, 5, 6, whatever questions, that we're done and we can start moving. And she'll know I have at least 6, I'll pick the most important, let's say 5 or whatever questions to ask about anything. And then I got to be done, right? So they had to come up with a way to communicate with each other, because C's are very analytical. Let's jump into the C. The C is a very analytical person. So think about your engineers, your architects, your accountants. Those are usually C personality types, math and science type people. So the C asks a million questions. My wife always used to ask me before learning DISC. She's like, why are you asking so many questions? Why like that? Like it was almost every single day. She's like, why are you asking those questions? And in my mind, it's just the normal way I operate. I always ask questions. That's how I feel comfortable. I say that a C personality type wants all of the puzzle pieces. It's a 500 piece puzzle. Give me all 500 pieces. I will put them together into the picture, and then I'll feel safe and comfortable. Okay. If you're a D personality type, they only want like 1 or 2 puzzle pieces. That's it. And then move on, start taking action. So the C personality type is that analytical person. You definitely have to value the analytical part of a C, but C's can get stuck in paralysis of analysis. And that's the downside of a C. We didn't really talk about the downside of an S. They do have a downside too. That is, as much as they're friendly and they're easygoing, they're easy to get along with, they're so steady that when it comes to change, the S's are the least comfortable with change. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you always have to kind of prepare the S ahead of time and gradually work them through change. And when I can make an S aware that they're uncomfortable with change, I can help them to know that just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean you don't have to move forward. You can move forward uncomfortable.
It's interesting. I wonder if we can apply DISC personalities to brands in a way.
It's interesting. It's a good thought. When we talk about brands,
connect with certain audience types.
And there are these 12 brand archetypes that people often talk about, but if you actually look at the 12 and think about them like there's really only 4. There's 4 majors. But like you said, nobody's just one. God forbid, because that's nuts. You're a little bit of like, I'm listening as you were talking and going, I'm definitely a high I, right? I can see that. I own my company. I would say that I have D traits in there. Part of what I do though is I ask a lot of questions. I want to hear from the client. I try to listen between the lines. So that's the C. And so, there's a lot of those in here. I love this. I think we've probably discussed this all day.
Yeah.
Today as you came in, you're wearing a pin that says, Live to Lead. And I know you've spoken about this. I'm wondering if you can tell the audience a little bit about Live to Lead and what that means for you.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So Live to Lead is a leadership experience that's coming up at the end of January 24th. It's really to launch leaders to help them to grow themselves to the next level, right? So what we experience out here, well, really everywhere, is that we've got employees who are disengaged. At about the rate of 2/3 of them are disengaged at work. Most people complain about their boss. They, if you ask anybody, who are the people that you trust the most? I guarantee you that 99% of people would not list their boss in that list of people that they trust the most.
Right.
Probably their mom will go in there, but not their boss, right? And why is that? Why isn't their boss? If we follow people that we know, like, and trust, why aren't our leaders people that we like and trust, right?
Yeah.
So is there a way, are there some hacks that we can use in leadership, right? They're not really hacks, but they're basically, I call them cheat codes, because once you learn them, you go, oh, that's it. That's easy. Like listening first, I call it listen first leadership. How difficult is it to just keep your mouth shut? You got 2 ears, they don't close, right? So there's some hints that biology gave you, right? Your mouth can close, your ears can't. So listen first, right? If you're a leader, listen to your team. You don't have to follow everything that they say, but you should listen to them, value them, show them respect, get their ideas. You're not the only one who is thinking and has ideas about things. Listen to your team, right? So if I can help leaders to develop their leadership skills, we can recreate the culture of business here on Long Island. We know that as goes the leader, so goes the company. If you want to get effective results from your team, you need to have good leadership. I can go on forever about this. I'm super excited about it. It's Live to Lead. It's a full day event. It's coming up Friday, January 24th. They can register online at livetoleadli.com. It's live, L-I-V-E, 2, the number 2, lead, L-E-A-D-L-I for longisland.com.
So is this something that you've developed specifically for Long Island and the region? Is it something that some of the other trainers and people that you work with are doing in their own regions?
Yeah, great question. So there's about 300 of us that are licensed to provide Live to Lead. So Live to Lead is a Maxwell leadership event that John Maxwell has brought together himself and some other big name speakers that it's a little difficult for those of us around here to get those speakers in the same room at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so John Maxwell puts them together in the same room at the same time, has a big event down in Orlando, Florida. We pay thousands of dollars to go there and then thousands more dollars to license the content, right? And then we mix and match big name speakers like John Maxwell, Malcolm Gladwell, with local speakers like myself. And we create an event that is geared towards an experience for business owners to not only get in the room with each other and network together, but also reflect and assess and really have an opportunity to transform their thinking, right? So we break it down into basically 2 pieces. How do you think? If I can help you to think more effectively, then you're on the road to improvement. And then it's the habits. If I can change your habits so that on a day-to-day basis, you're implementing new strategies that you weren't implementing before, now you're going to make a difference. So we're changing mindsets and we're changing behaviors.
I love this because it really dovetails a lot with the kind of things that Asaf and I talk about. I'm always talking about the brand story. We're talking about how do you live the brand? How do you express the brand? And sometimes how do you transform the brand? There's been a change, whether that's been new hires, a new location, new product or service, something new. And now the brand has changed and people struggle to figure out how to say the new part. That's that kind of transformation. That's what you were just talking about. The 2 parts. How are you thinking, and then how what are the habits that you're doing to bring that out. I love that. It sounds like almost like the TEDx formula that you have, right? There's the main TED Talk, and then there's the regional TEDx's that all go around and kind of borrow and grow from one another. So when you are targeting this for everybody, who again is your target audience for coming to the Live to Lead, LI?
Yeah. So everybody, unless you're stuck in a cave and you have zero interaction with other human beings, you will get value out of Live to Lead. Primarily, it's going to be either business owners and some of their leadership team or any other leader who's in business who just wants to grow and be a little bit better, get better results with their team.
Are there any size teams that this is really great for, or any industries where you found this type of leadership development, really works best?
Yeah. So there's people are people, regardless of whether they're making widgets or selling widgets or creating, the technology behind the widget or whatever it is. So what I find is that the people, the leadership, the people to people skills in leadership are really the same, whether it's the legal field or technology or manufacturing or industry or healthcare or, elder care or any of those types of organizations or companies, private sector, public sector, government. These are all good because everybody deals with people. Everybody has people as clients. and people on their teams. And so if you can learn how to lead people better, you'll get better results.
Sounds like a spicy event. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I would love to find out if you have a spicy leadership story for us.
Spicy. Well, one of the clients that I've been working with for a few years now, he's an employee in the company. So the company is paying for his leadership development, but he really takes it to heart. He's probably been one of my best proteges, so to speak. And he reads the books, he listens, he takes action. He asks me questions. He'll call me. I'll get a text while I'm driving. Sorry, I do read my text while I'm driving, but he'll be like, "Hey, Joe, you got a minute to speak?" I'm like, "All right, let me just give him a call and see." But he's really taken it to heart. And he went from being somebody who the company's like, "Well, we got this guy. He's really good. People like him, but he's just never really been great. He's done this. He was good. He was okay. He's done this other job. He was good. He was okay. But we haven't really figured out where he can shine." And he really took leadership to heart, and he started growing himself, and he started to get better results from his team. So they gave him some more teams, and then he started to get better results from those teams. And they gave him half of the department. He took care of that, and that started to get amazing results. So then he took over the entire department. Now he's a director. So he's gotten several promotions over the course of a year. In the last 2 years, thankfully, I was able to be at the award ceremony for this company when he got the MVP award.
That's great.
For his department. And so team leader now is director of this section of the company, and just getting amazing results because he takes the leadership stuff to heart. He actually does it, right? He owns it. He transforms his thinking. He transforms his behaviors, and he gets the results. And we chuckle because we say, if you do the work, it works. If you just do it, it works.
Right. It's funny. We say the exact same thing with the brand. When you build the brand with us, when we determine what is it that is the story that you need to be telling, what are the stories that you want to be talking to your clients about, when you do those things and it comes back and works, it's an amazing feeling. The hair stands up on your arm and you go, yes, this works. And sometimes people are surprised. Hey, I did those things and it works. And you're like, yeah, surprise, these things work. And that's what it sounds like for you, that,
Absolutely.
Hearing that they came back, congratulations, hearing that somebody's come back from an iffy situation to an MVP situation is really fantastic.
It's quite the case study.
So, Joe, why don't you tell our audience the ways that they can get in contact with you?
Yeah. So the fastest, easiest way to get in contact with me is through Live to Lead, livetoleadli.com, and just go to the contact page. You can contact me. If they want to register, there's a ticket page there to register. If they want to sponsor the event, there's a sponsorship page there to sponsor the event. Or they can just give me a call on my number for the office. It's 631-770-7705.
All right. Well, listen, Joe, we really appreciate you being with us today on the Brandtelling Podcast. For the podcast, this is Arthur Germain.
And this is Asaf the Brand Chef Bachman signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Brandtelling Podcast. If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on the podcast, please send us an email at podcast@brandtelling.com.
So we're back, everyone, and we're talking to So we're back, everyone. We're talking to I'm tripping over myself. Why don't you bring us back?
Joe Beauchamp.
And we're back, everybody. We're talking to Joe Beauchamp of Beauchamp Leadership. What is the actual?
Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions.
And we're back, everybody. We're joined by Joe Beauchamp from Beauchamp Team
Solutions.
Growth Solutions.
I don't have it written.